record. Does it say it's recording for you?
It does.
It does. Yay. Cool beans. Yeah. Put my phone to the side because I don't want it buzzing and making vibrations on my desk and in the microphone. Cool
yeah, well,
beans.
I have to sit in a perfect spot so this mic doesn't cut out.
That's fair. Who knows? Maybe you have to.
I'm going to grab my remote before.
All right.
I got a super bad chafe at work today.
That's nice. That's recorded, by the way.
I
know. We're keeping that in there. All right. Are you good whenever?
I'm fine.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of WFS, The Will Ford Show. Alec Bell back in the lab with me. Going to look at the college football playoff, the 4 teams that were in and who was potentially left out. There's some good discussion there. I know a lot of people are heated about that. We're going to talk about Jalen Hurts and his first 2 starts with the Philadelphia Eagles over Carson Wentz after he was benched, and kind of what the future for Carson Wentz looks like. The AFC and NFC playoff picture, we'll look at if the playoffs started today, what does it look like? What are the matchups going to be? And we're going to predict all the way through the Super Bowl. That'll be fun. And then we'll just have some miscellaneous stuff to talk about later on in the show as well. Alec, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. First of all, can you hear the TV in the background?
I can't hear anything in the background, no.
You can't hear it? Okay, good, because I'm watching TV. I'm watching Monday Night Countdown. Second of all, you haven't even commented on my haircut today.
You look good, buddy. I love your haircut. It looks good.
People at work commented on it this morning, 7:30 in the morning. Totally forgot I even had a haircut. You're the first person. Oh, nice haircut, Alec. Thanks.
Did you have to look? You were like, wait, did I get a haircut?
I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, wait, I did get a haircut.
Anyone cute that told you? Or?
Well, I mean, they're all in their 40s, so.
I mean, hey.
And married and engaged.
No, it's okay. It's all jokes. But
yeah,
hey, that's nice that you got some compliments there that make you feel good today.
Yeah, I also finished my Christmas shopping today.
Ooh, lovely. I finished mine a couple days ago.
I get 30% off discount at Beware, so
that's nice.
There.
That's nice.
Whole reason why I work there.
So you get some nice T-shirts. Can you put whatever you want on them, or does it have to be whatever they have? Or,
no, I'm talking the Beware store.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking? Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get 30% off, and it's a decent sized store.
It'd be cool if you could put your own thing on it, though.
I mean, I don't know if I can. It would cost a lot of money, and I don't think I'd get 30% off.
Even if you did, it would still probably cost a lot of money.
But I bought a OU hoodie and a Muskingum shirt.
But you don't go to OU.
My brother does.
That's a present for Christmas, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I got it for my sister because they have a total of 5 Muskingum shirts and they're kind of junk. And I already bought one for my mom, so
I'm
like, yeah, I'll just get one.
Cutie.
Hopefully she's not listening.
Wow, I don't know how popular I am on the pod, but that's okay. Ready to dive in?
I am.
Okay, so college football playoff. The top 4 teams, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. I got to tell you, I'm not surprised with the last 2 teams with Ohio State and Notre Dame, but I don't think they should be in. What do you think about Ohio State and Clemson, or not Clemson, Notre Dame being 3 and 4?
Well, I think, in my opinion, 3 and 4 should be switched.
Oh, so you think Ohio State should be below Notre Dame?
I think Ohio State should be below Notre Dame. I think they should be in. Don't get me wrong. But and I feel like a reason why they didn't do that is because that'd be the 3rd Clemson-Notre Dame game you'd see this year.
But that's not their job.
I know that's not their job. But you have to think, back of their mind, they're thinking, do we really want to see this for a 3rd time?
I mean, it could happen, though.
Yeah, it could happen, but I think
set
everyone
up a
knows
grudge
exactly what's
match.
going to happen.
Like that's the one thing I don't like about, because I think the selection committee lets biases get in the way and lets TV ratings and money get in the way of who the best 4 teams are.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people too, like we saw a game earlier in the year with Alabama and Texas A&M, and we saw Alabama and Florida too. Another team, even though they have a couple losses, they were probably in the conversation to get in. Like, I don't think they wanted to see those games again because they probably know Alabama would steamroll. They're probably going to steamroll everybody
Notre Dame.
maybe
Now, I
outside of
think
Clemson. But like, I think they were letting the idea of bad matchups get in the way, and that's not their job.
one thing to look out for is Ohio State, solely because of the fact they've only played 6 games. They're going to be completely fresh.
Yes. Competitive
That's
advantage.
if COVID doesn't get in the way.
Well, they have like 27 players that are like on their COVID list or whatever. But I mean, they're not going to play until the 1st of January. Odds are they're probably going to be back by
That
then.
is also true, yeah.
But like, their team has got less injuries. They have less fatigue because they've only played half of a season. That's a competitive advantage.
So I'm watching Monday Night Football Countdown, and they're doing their game picks or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone has the Steelers beating the Bengals. Steve has like 28-3. Randy has 42-9. Guess what Booger's score is?
What is it? Low.
It just says by a lot.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Like, if Joe Burrow's playing, that might be a closer game, but yeah, no dice on that.
It's just scary for me as a Steelers fan. Anyway, back to college football.
I forget what you were saying or what I was saying.
Ohio State, decent.
Oh,
but
yeah, like the competitive advantage, only playing 6 games.
That's really going to help you.
It's going to help. Yeah, it's going to help Ohio State because they're going to be less fatigued. They have less team injuries. But like, to me, since they played 6 games, I feel like they shouldn't be in. While these other teams have played 11 or 12 games, like Texas A&M, I think should 100% be in at least over one of the 2 teams, Ohio State or Notre Dame. At least.
You have to look at it. The committee doesn't look at how many games you played. The committee looks at who's the best and who's the worst. Well, I would say who's the worst, but who's the top 4 teams. They don't look at, so and so played 4 games or whatever. And in Ohio State's fairness, they can't control how many games they play.
No, I understand. I understand it's not Ohio State's fault. Like, teams couldn't play games. It is what it is. I'm not blaming Ohio State. I'm not mad at Ohio State, but I'm mad at the selection committee because I feel like the body that we talk about, the body of work all the time. Like, who have you beaten? Who did you play? And Ohio State's only played half of their conference.
That is true. And it doesn't help that the Big Ten is not the strongest conference in the world.
It's like Big Ten is a good conference, but it's not the SEC.
It's not even close. Not even the ACC, I would say.
That's why I argue like Texas A&M should be in because they lost to Alabama, but they won 7 in a row to close the season in the SEC, and none of those teams are really easy outs, maybe outside of like 1 or 2. Like, the SEC is really good.
So SEC is
they got to be in, I
think. People even tried to make a case for Cincinnati to get in.
See, now here's my problem with teams like Cincinnati and BYU and Coastal Carolina is those teams cannot hang with Alabama and
not with
Ohio
Alabama,
State.
no. But give them the chance.
But I just don't think it worked. They're not one of the best 4 teams. You're only putting them in because their record is 11-0 or whatever.
Like I said, they picked the top
UCF,
4 teams.
If they would have put UCF in a couple years ago, Central Florida, I think they would have hung with some teams. I mean, they beat Auburn in a bowl game a couple years ago. I think UCF, when they were good, would have hung in there, but they didn't want to give them the chance. But I think they should have.
Same with Houston. Remember Houston a few years ago? They were one of the top teams as well.
Yeah. But teams like your Coastal Carolina, like, no one gives a rip if you're blasting through the Sun Belt Conference. Who cares? It's not the ACC. It's not the Big 12. It's not the SEC.
Now, could you agree on this? They expanded to 8 teams. They hold on.
Okay.
And this is where it gets interesting. Power 5 conference champions all make it.
Yes, I've said that. I've said that for a while that they should have all Power 5 conference champions.
And then the committee decides the best non-Power 5 conference team makes it. And then
you have two others.
And then
just
they
two
have
random
two other best teams out there. It could be non-Power 5. There has to be one non-Power 5 team in there.
See, but the problem I have with that though is that
it's not the best team.
It may not be one of the best teams, so it defeats the purpose of saying we're going to put the best teams in.
But
like you're just doing it for inclusion. You're not doing it for the sake of competition.
But then now you're saying the Coastal Carolinas, Cincinnati's, UCFs, they're never going to make it just for the simple fact that they're not in a Power 5.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, I totally get it, but I don't know, because I don't like the whole it's got to be fair for everybody, and we got to include everybody and everything, because like the problem with this is people are already complaining that like with just 4 teams, the teams that are 5, 6, 7 all want in. Well, when you extend it to 8 teams,
then you're going to want to extend it to 10, then 12.
Right, exactly. So like you might as well do a March Madness tournament with 64 teams. And
that would be awesome.
I'm serious, but that's what it would get to.
It really would.
Like that's the conversation that is eventually going to come up if you just keep expanding the bracket.
I think what they should do is I think they should expand it to 6 teams. This is my opinion. 6 teams, and the first 2 get buys. I think that's the fairest way to do it.
6 teams, first 2 get buys, all 5 Power 5 conference champions get in.
No, just straight 6 teams. I want just straight 6 teams.
No, but I'm saying you get all 5 Power 5 champions in, and then the next best team.
I don't even want that. I just want the 6 best teams. Because let's be honest, is Pac-12 really a Power 5 conference anymore?
Well, it is, but
is it?
No, the schools are not the same.
Exactly.
It's probably near the bottom when you put those conferences out there.
I think now it's the Power 4 conferences.
I get honest. It's I don't know.
You still have Oregon and USC, but they really haven't been anything lately.
They haven't been good for a while. But I don't know. I think Texas A&M should have gotten in over Ohio State.
Ohio State.
And to be honest with you, Ohio State shouldn't even played in their conference championship.
They shouldn't have, but they changed the ruling.
They changed the rule because they're Ohio State. It should have been Indiana versus Northwestern in the Big Ten championship. But the problem is, by changing the rule, and this is the reason why they changed the rule. I don't even think this is a theory. I think this is straight up why they did it. And I think you've talked to me about this a couple times, is if a team in a conference makes the college football playoff, each school in that conference gets millions of dollars. It might be north of upwards to $10 million for each school in the conference. So Ohio State gives the conference the best chance to get into the playoff. So if you change the rule, make them play the Big Ten championship, they're likely going to win it against whoever they play. And they did. Now they're in the playoff. Now all these schools get $10 million to play with. And
did you see what they did? They changed the COVID designation list or whatever from 21 to 17 days.
Yep.
So now that I don't agree with.
They're all going to come back before January 1st.
Honestly, because what you might not know about the six game thing, whatever, every single school had to come together and they unanimously voted and said that that's fine.
Yep.
Which I think that's okay. If all the schools come together and yeah, sure. Because I think they're all thinking yeah, it's not fair because some of the schools in the Big Ten played 7 games, some played 5. Ohio State played 5 and then got to get in. I think it was completely fair.
I don't know. It's just I just don't like how the Big Ten handled everything this year, though, because they said they weren't going to revisit playing at all this year. Then they went back to it because they saw everyone else was playing and they didn't want to lose out on the money.
Well, I think Ohio State put pressure on the Big Ten to play because they're like,
Yes,
hey,
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. And
they were
because they're
probably
Ohio
like,
State,
well, they can't really. I was
but
gonna say they might have seceded, but I don't think they can do that legally.
but they changed how they were going to do that. They changed all their COVID precautions of like keeping people out for 3 weeks or whatever it is, and they've shortened it. Now they're changing the rules within their own conference about how many games you have to play to be eligible for the playoff. Like hold strong on something. Like quit breaking down so easy. I think all it is it's just money driven. You know
It's a
what's
money
funny?
grab.
You know who the head of the committee is, right? The playoff committee?
Is it Dean or whatever?
No,
Gene
but it's the athletic director for a Big Ten school, Gary Barta from Iowa. And
Iowa.
and I'm sure now obviously Iowa's not like that great of a football team in the Big Ten, but
A random school.
I'm sure he had a lot of say in Ohio State getting in because that means Iowa gets $10 million. You know what I mean?
Or
Like it's all
however much they
money.
get.
It's all money driven. So like
Oh, I mean, it's a money grab for sure. But my opinion, I think it was handled. Not the Big Ten. I don't think the Big Ten handled it well. I think the committee, the playoff committee, handled it well. Now, my opinion, the debate wasn't necessarily if Ohio State got in. It was if Ohio State was going to be 3 or 4, and the debate was going to be if Texas A&M was going to get in over Notre Dame.
so
Which there was a serious debate about it, but at the end of the day, obviously Texas A&M didn't get in.
all right. So hot take on this. I think Texas A&M should have gotten in over Ohio State. Then Notre Dame should not have been in at all either because I think their win over Clemson earlier in the year was a fluke because Trevor Lawrence was out. They won in double overtime. Then now ACC championship, they get completely wiped.
Well, so then who's the 4th team?
Hear me out. This is why it's a hot
Okay.
take. I think even though they got beat twice this year, Florida.
Florida got 3 times.
3 times? Okay. They had a bad loss to LSU.
They lost to A&M and then Florida.
But
and then
A&M's
Bama.
a good team, and then they lost to Bama. I don't know. I think you put Florida. I think Florida gives Bama a better, like they're gonna play better against Alabama than.
Now, if
than
you take
Notre
away that
Dame would.
LSU loss, I think you have an argument. But right now, I don't think you have an argument just because of the LSU loss.
Yeah, since they lost to LSU, of course they're not going to get in. But if they didn't, I think there would have been a legitimate argument. They arguably would. It would have been close. It would have been close. That's for sure. They probably would have put them at like maybe. They probably would have put them at 6. I don't know who's at 6 right now, but they would have put them like just outside the top.
Okay,
4.
so off topic, and this can move on to our next segment or whatever. And I just saw this on TV. So Juju did another TikTok dance on the Bengals logo today.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I heard he did that against the Bills, and then of course the Bills.
Oh, he's done that against every team. Cowboys.
Oh, has he done it
every
against
away team?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think against the Cowboys.
No, he does it before the game.
Right.
Goes out, but he scored a touchdown and went to do the on the star. And then
I
Gregory
know,
got
but
mad
I think pregame he was trying to dance on the star too, and Antoine Woods went out there and like he had started and he stopped him from finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kicked him off the star because.
But do you think? I mean, Juju puts it up. He doesn't have the yardage numbers, but he has the receptions. And if you watch him play, he powers through his receiver. He is a strong kid.
He is. And I don't think Juju's not disrespectful or anything like that. He doesn't mean anything by dancing on the logo. I don't think it's supposed to be disrespectful at all. I think he's just doing it just to have some fun. He's making a TikTok. But if you remember, well, you don't remember, but like if you've heard about T.O. dancing on the star when he played for the, I think he was with the Niners at the time. Maybe he was with the Eagles. I don't remember which team he was with. But Terrell Owens did it, and he got blasted by Roy Williams off the star after he scored a touchdown. That's disrespectful. But Juju doing it before a game, I don't really read into it.
And one thing you have to look at is millions and millions of kids, not just teenagers, legit kids look up to him purely for the fact that he is a TikToker. Juju essentially comes off as a kid vibe. Like, how could you not get along with him? You know?
I think a lot of people may not even know, like a lot of young kids probably wouldn't even know who Juju Smith-Schuster is if it weren't for TikTok.
Exactly.
Like TikTok has probably been the social media platform of 2020. Like it's
I don't
exploded.
have one, just saying.
I have one. I posted one video on it.
What was it?
It was during the summer, and I went outside with basketball, and I was like, too bad we're in quarantine because my jumper's in midseason form. And then I purposely bricked it, and then I gave a thumbs up to the camera.
How many views did it get?
I got like over 200 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But only a couple likes. I doubt it's going to be on anybody's For You page. I mean, obviously it was if people saw it, but I thought it was funny.
That's a good one, yeah.
But I just like to watch stuff. But anyways, off topic. So we'll move into the NFL now. I wanted to talk about the Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz dynamic in Philly because Jalen Hurts has been lighting it up in his first two games. And he's almost 2-0 in his first two starts. He almost beat a really good Cardinals team yesterday. And let me break down the stats here for wrong tab for Jalen Hurts. First start against New Orleans. I'm not counting the time where he played against Green Bay because he filled in, and you're taking over a game where you're already down double digits. So I'm not counting those stats in this. But his first start against New Orleans, 17 of 30, 56% completions, 167 yards passing, a touchdown, 18 rushes for 106 yards, and an 83 rating, and of course a W. And then against Arizona yesterday, he went 24 for 44, 54% completions, 338 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, a 102 rating, and also 11 rushes for 63 yards and a touchdown. I think this is the quarterback of the future for Philly, 100%, and they've got to move off of Wentz.
And the funny thing is, I think it was kind of a fluke pick on the Eagles' part because they didn't draft him to become the future quarterback of the Eagles. They drafted him to become that Taysom Hill type
that's kind of funny
player.
But they took him really early, though. I don't think anyone was going to take him in the second round.
Everyone was like, huh?
Because
now it's kind of paying off.
I wanted the Cowboys to draft him in like the maybe 4th or 5th, like just to get a backup, like a young backup quarterback. I mean, we ended up with Andy Dalton, which was fine. I mean, it's been more than fine for us.
Yeah, but just think, Jalen Hurts could be your future right now.
Could be, yeah, but
and then Dak would be gone.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't want to spend a second round draft pick on him though.
Oh, I know. I was saying if you got him in the 5th round or whatever.
Because like, who would have thought that Dak was going to have a catastrophic injury like that? Like, I wouldn't have been like, oh, let's draft Jalen Hurts because I can see into the future, week 5 against the Giants, he's going to break his ankle. Like, no. But Philly's got to move off of Wentz now, right? I mean, they have to.
Oh, they for sure do. And he came out and even said, I'm not backing up, which is he has every right to say because
but it's the wrong thing to say.
It is, but it isn't. He knows his time in Philly is coming up. He sees that they're looking at Jalen Hurts as the next best player, the next best quarterback in that division. So Wentz is like, I need to get out of here while I can. I'm not sitting back up. And
then say it after the season.
Well, and the Eagles are even saying, like, we're not paying you $30 million to back up either.
Right.
So.
I wouldn't do that. Like, here. Let me run through, like, the cap hit numbers here. So next season, when Philly has both Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz on the roster, remember, Carson Wentz just got paid like $100 million guaranteed on that big contract. If the Eagles were to cut him after the season, or before the start of next season, it would count $60 million against their cap.
Dead money?
It's just all dead. They're going to lose $60 million. If they trade him, or if they keep him, it's $35 million against their cap. And if you trade him, it's $34 million. So if you're going to, you might as well trade him if keeping him costs pretty much the same amount.
the thing is, I feel like it's going to be a Brock Osweiler situation. Remember when the Texans had to attach a second-round pick to get rid of Brock Osweiler's
Well,
contract?
that's what Philly's going to have to do here.
I know, but they're not going to want to.
They're not going to have to give up a second.
But they're not going to want to give up all of that money to clear up $1 million in cap right now. They're going to try and get they're going to want to have him be a quality backup, because what they're going to do is they're going to get rid of their own pick just to save $1 million. That makes no sense in my opinion. Why not just keep him?
But it's going to hurt Jalen Hurts in the long run, because there's already butting heads in that quarterback room. If one guy's already not supportive of the other by saying, I don't have any interest in being a backup. Basically, you're saying I have no interest in being a mentor to a young quarterback who is.
Well, why would he want to be?
Okay, but you got to be a good teammate. You got to swallow your pride. He's gonna get another job somewhere else.
Wentz is essentially in his prime right now. Why would he want to be like? He's what, like 28, 29,
He's
maybe
28.
30?
He's 28.
28. Why would he be like, okay, yeah, I'm in my prime. Let me just mentor this backup right now.
For the last couple weeks of the season.
Apparently.
It's just for a couple weeks. This team's not making the playoffs anyways.
I think Wentz might have every right to be.
Okay,
sorry, I'm watching the Steelers, and Deontay Johnson dropped another ball.
No, you're fine. But in fairness, if Wentz can be mad all he wants, but in fairness, I mean, the Eagles organization's got to be mad because they're paying him $100 million guaranteed, and they're getting that kind of performance out there on the field. I mean, look at his stats: 2,600 yards passing, 57% completion, which isn't terrible, but 16 touchdowns, 15 picks, and a 72 quarterback rating.
But everyone has terrible seasons. Big Ben had a horrible season in, I believe, 2008. I remember. Hold on, hear me out.
All right.
Oh, wow. I remember because we were watching the game. Ben got hurt like week 15 or whatever, and we were like, oh, thank God. Get him out of here. It's the season. It's one season. Carson Wentz, 2-3 years ago, was an MVP front runner.
All right.
Don't even bring up Cam Newton. I understand Cam Newton won an MVP 6 years ago.
No, it has nothing to do with Cam Newton. I was not going to say anything about Cam Newton. What I'm going to say is that year that he was an MVP front runner and he got hurt, Nick Foles came in
and won the freaking Super Bowl.
And he won a Super Bowl. Okay, he won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles comes in after Carson Wentz gets hurt and leads them all the way to a Super Bowl. So, like, I mean, you can't argue, like, you won a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if the Eagles go to a Super Bowl with – maybe they still do with Carson Wentz leading them. But Nick Foles came in, won a Super Bowl, and now has a statue outside the stadium. Carson Wentz doesn't have that. And then last year, yes, they won the division with Carson Wentz. He had a really great run at the end of the year, but then he gets hurt again, and Nick Foles is a tipped pass away from going to another NFC championship. Almost beat New Orleans.
He's also made field goal away from losing a game, so
that it doesn't matter. He still won the game. Double doink Cody Parkey didn't come through in the clutch, and was a throwaway from making the NFC championship once again. Could have made it to another Super Bowl. I think that had that probably messed a lot up here in the head. Mentally, it probably crushed his confidence knowing that his backup quarterback can come in and, like, I'm sure he's happy that his team is winning, but winning without him on the field, like, he's not helping them in any way. And this year,
you know what he would say? He would point to his finger and say, "Look at the ring."
Okay,
I got a ring.
Does he even look at his own hand though and say, "I got a ring"?
Yeah, really. I would if I had a freaking ring.
Okay, but he's
the 12th man on the Lakers.
Okay,
you saw Quinn Cook showing that thing off.
There's a difference between a role player and a starting quarterback who got hurt.
Is Quinn Cook a role player?
I'm just saying, generally speaking.
Oh, TJ Watt's so freaking good.
Generally speaking, like, role players, of course, are going to be thrilled about winning a ring for a team, but a starting quarterback whose team wins a ring without him is going to feel a little salty about that, I think, and a little discouraged. True. So, like, I think they got to move him. They have
Oh,
to
I
trade him.
think
You
they have to
can't-
move him too, for
you
sure.
can't-
But
you can't eat that money as a backup.
what I'm saying is you don't move him this year because you're going to save
In the
$1 million.
offseason, you do.
You're saving $1 million. That's
Okay,
it.
but you might as well. But
And you're going to have to
for the
attach
team
a pick
chemistry,
to
it
get rid of
doesn't
him.
work.
I just think you keep him, use him as a backup quarterback or whatever.
Carson Wentz
'cause
is too good to be a backup quarterback.
I know he is, but
He just needs a different situation.
he does. Honestly, though, like, where?
You tell me. I have a
I-
place in my mind.
Is it Pittsburgh?
No, that wouldn't be bad, but no.
I want Sam Darnold. I want Sam Darnold to go to Pittsburgh.
You might be able to get him if they but the Jets may not get Trevor Lawrence now.
No, they're sitting at number 2 now.
Yeah.
They might just
We can talk about that too, but where do you think Wentz goes?
Patriots.
Wow, that would be see, I don't know about the Patriots. I think they might go back and get Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, I think Patriots baller move. They say, "Hey, I forget the GM of the Howie
Laurie.
Roseman, right?
No, it's something.
No, is that the owner?
It's like Jeff Laurie or something, or Laurie.
Who's Howie Roseman then? Howie Roseman, I know for sure is with the Eagles, but I don't know if he's the owner or the GM.
I think he's the owner.
Either way, he's gonna say Bill Belichick or Kraft or whoever.
He is the general manager. Oh,
Okay, that's what I
Laurie's
thought.
the owner. It's Laurie that's the owner. Sorry, my fault.
He's gonna say, "Look, you give us Wentz in a second, we'll give you a fourth. Eat the money or whatever. Deal." And he's gonna say deal, and bam,
Wentz in a
3
second's
Super Bowls
a
later.
lot. Wentz in a second. I think
I'm telling you, you're gonna have to attach a pick to get rid of that contract.
I understand you're gonna have to attach a pick, but it's not gonna be Wentz in a second. It's probably gonna be like Wentz in a fourth.
I don't know.
And you'll probably
man.
get,
it's a
like-
lot of money. I mean, Brock Osweiler was only like $17 million, and they attached a second round pick. Wentz, you're looking at what, $30-40 million?
It's true. I'm gonna let the cat out real quick. I hear you, bud. Listen, I get it. I get that it's a lot of money involved, but I just don't know how you move forward with a guy in your quarterback room who clearly has no interest in being a backup.
Didn't hear a word you said.
I said I get it. Like, I get that there's a lot of money involved with it, and it's no matter what you do, you're going to be eating a lot. But like, it just doesn't work for that quarterback room when you have a guy that's not interested in being a backup at all. That's just going to make for a very tough, long, and probably terrible season because you've got quarterbacks butting heads in the
That is
locker
true.
room and a coach that can't handle it.
Oh, poor shoot! I can't even think of the coach name now.
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson.
I don't know. But
What do you think about? Go on.
I think the Indianapolis Colts would be the ideal situation for him.
Oh, come on, Ben.
I think Frank Reich, because Frank Reich was his offensive coordinator in Philly before he moved to Indy, and that's when Carson Wentz had his best season before he got hurt. So,
You don't
Phillip,
think
Phillip Rivers is only on a 1-year deal there. Maybe he gets another year with them, but odds are I think this is his last season. And
Yeah, but you don't think they're going to try to ride out with Jacoby Brissett?
no, because
They're already trying to working him back in.
They're not really working him in. He's just their strong arm, mobile quarterback. They bring him in on like quarterback sneaks and like Hail Marys. Like they don't believe in Jacoby Brissett. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought in Phillip Rivers.
What are we doing?
And Phillip Rivers isn't even. He's good, but he's not the Phillip Rivers from even 3 years ago. Like Phillip Rivers is not that fantastic, but he looks good this year behind a great offensive line and having a great defense.
Yeah.
I think Indianapolis would be willing to give up like a mid-round pick to get Carson Wentz. Honestly, I think that might even be it might even be a steal, but they're also taking on a lot of money at the same
They
time.
are a
So
lot
like
of money.
it's a give and take, but I think Indianapolis would be willing to pull the trigger on that. Pittsburgh is also interesting though, but
I want Sam Darnold.
now, okay, let's talk about that really fast because the Jets won their first game yesterday against the Los Angeles Rams. That's inexcusable from the Rams. I don't know how they lose.
Yeah, very.
But because now that makes the NFC West incredible. Like that is going to be a photo finish at the end of the year for who wins the division, who's the wild card, who's out. But the Jets, by winning, now have dropped their percentage of getting the number one pick to like just 30% or whatever it is. And the Jags have leapt them. Now, they don't play each other, do they?
Who? Say what?
The Jags and the Jets don't play each other?
Nope, they do not play each other.
So I
The
don't know how
Jags own the first pick.
So how do they determine that? Is it just like matchups?
Strength of schedule.
Okay, that's okay.
Maybe it's strength of victory. I don't know. I think it's strength of schedule. And they say the Jags far and away have it better than the Jets.
Better as in it's a worse strength of schedule?
Yeah, as in they have the first
They play
pick.
weaker teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
They say if they end up 1-15 now, 100% the Jags will get the first pick.
Gotcha. So that makes things really interesting because I think number one, no matter what, is going to be Trevor Lawrence. If it's the Jets, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. If it's the Jags, they were going to take Fields at number 2, but if it's at number 1, they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. I think though, if the Jets are at number 2, I don't think they take.
I don't think
Fields.
they do either.
And that makes things interesting because they can either take Penei Sewell from Oregon, left tackle, or they could take a receiver like a Jamar Chase from LSU or like a Devontae or the what's the guy's name from Alabama, Devontae Smith. They could take one of those guys, or they could trade out of it.
They would probably trade out is what I think they would do.
Well, if you want offensive lineman, I wouldn't trade out of it. I would take Sewell at number 2.
Yeah, but they just drafted
Becky Becton.
And he's already a stud. So do they really need another offensive tackle?
Yes, they need another offensive tackle.
I think what they need is they need weapons. And I think they should trade out with the said Patriots.
The Patriots won't do it.
You don't think so?
Patriots won't do it. If a team
someone who needs offensive tackle help is going to trade up to that number 2 pick, because you're looking at the future.
Cincinnati will trade. Cincinnati will trade up from 3 or 4 or wherever they're at.
No, they're going to be at 3 because I think.
But Cincinnati
what I think is going to happen
up.
is they're not. They wouldn't trade up. They wouldn't trade all that capital just for one pick.
But Sewell's the number 1. I guarantee you, he is the number 1 guy on their draft board.
And honestly, I think he's going to go to them because I truly think 1 and 2 is going to be Lawrence and Fields. I think that's how it's going to fall. Do I think it should be like that? No, but I think that's how it's going to be.
But you're probably right. If the Jets are number 2, though, I think someone is going to trade up and take the Jets pick, and the Jets will trade out because I think they would rather keep Sam Darnold than go with Justin Fields, which could make things really interesting. And then if a team doesn't trade up and they pass on Justin Fields, then is another team going to trade up with another, or is Justin Fields going to fall? Because like imagine the Dallas Cowboys at like let's just say number 5 or number 6, for example. And Dak with that franchise tag hasn't signed a new deal yet. What would Jerry Jones do with Justin Fields sitting there at number 5? Because he almost drafted Johnny Manziel and made the worst decision of his life, and Stephen Jones had to rip the card out of his hand on the way to the podium and write Zach Martin's name down on it.
That was funny. I remember that.
So, like, hearing about that afterwards, I almost crapped myself.
Yeah.
Because Tony Romo at the time still had some good football left, and I did not want Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football.
So, like, what does Jerry Jones do if Justin Fields is sitting there right in front of his face? Because last year CeeDee Lamb was sitting there at 17. They didn't need a wide receiver. That we're chilling with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, baby. We don't need a wide receiver.
What a pick he was, though.
And they took CeeDee Lamb because he fell right into the laps. inexcusably.
I still think they should keep Dak. Sign him to give him his money. He just needs his weapons. And he's good.
Well, I think I agree with you. I think they
Give
should.
him his line. Give him a lineman at number 5.
That's what I would see. That's why I really want Sewell, but I don't think he's
I
gonna fall.
don't think he's gonna fall that far.
He's not gonna fall that far, and if he doesn't fall
But
that
the
far,
Bengals just drafted Jonah like 2 years ago. They're off.
Jonah Williams, I think it is.
Jonah was his last name Williams?
Something like that. I know who you're talking about. That from
2
Alabama.
years ago. But they do need some serious, and they're gonna want to protect Joe Burrow at all costs. So I think I don't think he falls past 3 Sewell, but
it's interesting though because then
Ben fumbled
and
the Bengals have it. Oh my god.
It's going to be really interesting though how 1-2 shakes out, because if the Jets have number 1 and they take Lawrence, then Sam Darnold is going to be on the block, and then that means Pittsburgh could go after him potentially. But Big Ben just said today he wants to play next year, so I don't know what you do with that, because Sam Darnold would start right now for a lot of teams. I would think maybe the Falcons would get on the horn. The 49ers would probably get on the horn. The Lions might get on the horn. There's a lot of teams that would want Sam Darnold. So that's going to be really interesting to follow.
Sorry, I'm watching a Steeler game, and Ben just fumbled the snap, and Bengals recovered it in the red zone. And
that's fine.
Good Lord.
Don't worry about it. You're going to win the game.
You watch your mouth. Our offense is terrible.
Commentators curse.
Yeah, really.
All right, so last thing before we get into some miscellaneous stuff here, the AFC and NFC playoff picture. We're going to, if the playoff started today, we look at the seeds, who has the first round bye, who's going to play each other in the wild cards, and we're going to predict all the way to the Super Bowl. So we'll start off with the AFC. As of right now, these are the 7 teams that would make the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs would have the number 1 seed and have a bye. Pittsburgh Steelers at 2, Buffalo Bills at 3, Tennessee Titans at 4, Cleveland Browns at 5, ending their long playoff drought. Indianapolis Colts at 6, Miami Dolphins at 7. And that sets up the Chiefs with the bye, like I said. And then 2 versus 7, the Steelers would play the Dolphins in the wild card. The Bills would play the Colts, and the Titans would play the Browns. So, Alec, what do you think about Steelers versus Dolphins for a potential first-round matchup?
Steelers, Dolphins. That's something I don't want to see.
You don't want to see Steelers, Dolphins?
Well, out of every possible matchup, I do want to see that, but that's something I don't want to see. I don't want to see the Ravens. I definitely don't want to see the Browns.
The Ravens could even squeak in, but we're eliminating all other teams in the hunt. It's just if it was to start right now.
I think I think the Steelers will win that one just because our defense. I mean, the Dolphins.
Tua is a rookie, and he's going to be starting in his first playoff game.
The Dolphins have their holes. I mean,
I think it's Steelers.
They're not perfect. I think the Steelers would win that one. Do I think it would be an easy win? No. No win is ever an easy win.
Well, especially in the playoffs, no. But I think Tua's first start in the playoffs as a rookie, I think it's going to be tough. And the Steelers' defense is really good. So I'll go Steelers too. Bills versus Colts. This might be the game of the playoffs. My goodness. Both these teams are really good.
Are you picking two or are you
Oh no, I'm picking two. Yeah, I'll pick with you. I'm asking you
I think
first.
the Bills are the hottest team in the league right now.
I agree.
And I don't know who's stopping them.
I agree with that.
And I think they win that one.
I am on board. Tennessee Titans versus the Cleveland Browns.
The second hottest team in the league right now is the Titans, in my opinion. And I think the Titans keep it rolling. Most importantly, I think Derrick Henry keeps it rolling.
Yeah. It's a good point. Derrick Henry freaking slapped the crap out of somebody yesterday.
That was that kid's first career start. from the practice squad.
Really? Well, welcome
Yep.
to the big leagues, boy. So Titans.
Now remember, you have to. So
No, I know. You got to do the lowest seed will play the top
yeah,
seed. Yeah, I know. That's why I've been writing the seeds down. Number 4 Titans. Okay, cool. So now
get There we go, Watt.
we move to the divisional round. The Kansas City Chiefs, number 1 seed, taking on the Tennessee Titans.
Dude, that's
It's a tough one. That
is such a tough one.
because the Chiefs on a bye, they're probably going to be a little sluggish. They're the Chiefs, but they're probably going to be a little slow out of the gates.
I think the Chiefs are too much to handle, in my opinion. I would never bet against the Chiefs. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's tough, but I would agree with you. And then Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills. And this one, we just saw this a couple days, like a week ago.
This is the toughest one because the Steelers, a couple nights ago, everyone was out. We didn't have Hayden. We didn't have Steven Nelson, Vince Williams. We were on our 4th-string middle linebacker. Our defense was completely depleted. It's going to be a completely new team. Ben has the experience over Josh Allen in Pittsburgh, so that's why I'm going to pick the Bills on this one.
Nice swerve there. You got me with that. I didn't look surprised, but in my mind, it was all scrambled for a second. I think the Bills too, just because they're just so hot right now.
Because, I said, they're the hottest team in the league,
and it's still gonna be cold conditions in Pittsburgh, like it would be in Buffalo. So the conditions aren't going to really matter. Plus, no fans in Heinz Field. It's going to prove that the Bills are the better team.
And I do believe the Bills are the better team.
Yeah, so Chiefs-Bills AFC Championship. This is
going to be a great game. You say this 2 years ago. Even last year, you're like, really, the Bills?
You laugh. You're laughing.
Yeah,
you're like,
you're thinking Chiefs.
Next, please.
What? But now it's like, whew. That's a good one. But like I said, and I'll stand by, I can't pick against Patrick Mahomes. And that's why I got to pick Chiefs.
Yeah, I can't argue with it.
I mean,
I can't. I have nothing to say about it. All right. So now we move to the NFC. So we went
completely same there.
We did. Our AFC representative is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now this is when it gets fun.
Yes.
So
NFC playoff picture. If the season ended today, playoffs started. 1 seed with the bye week would be the Green Bay Packers. 2 seed, the New Orleans Saints. 3 seed, the Seattle Seahawks. 4 seed, the Washington Football Team. 5 seed, Los Angeles Rams. 6 seed, Tampa Bay Bucks. 7 seed, Arizona Cardinals. 3 teams from the AFC West in the playoffs here. All right, so the Packers have the bye. That means 2 versus 7. It'll be the New Orleans Saints and the Arizona Cardinals.
That's going to be a very good one because divisional game, and I think the Saints are pretty vulnerable. And I think they've shown that. Shoot, they're not in the same division. What am I thinking? Not. They played each other this year, though, haven't they?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I don't know. Either way, the Cardinals have shown that they can hang with the best of them, and the Saints have shown that they're very vulnerable due to the loss to, I should say, the Eagles. Now, I know that it was Taysom Hill or whatever, but I mean, Drew Brees hasn't shown that he's top tier anymore.
Drew Brees did look rough against Kansas City to start out, but then again, he hadn't taken a hit in like 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks. He's got 11 cracked ribs. I mean, he needed to take a couple hits to realize he was good to go, and he heated up near the end of the game. He had better stats than Mahomes in terms of like yards. He did have a pick, but yeah, I know what you mean though. But you're going with the Cardinals?
No, I'm not. I'm going to go with the Saints.
Oh, so you swerved me again.
Yeah.
All the reasons why the Saints
Well, no,
wouldn't win.
I have to give my fair advantages and opinions for both sides and how they can win.
Okay. If Drew Brees looks good and he looks better than he did against the Kansas City Chiefs, then I'm going with the Saints. But if he looks the same, then I would probably go with the Cardinals. But my bet is Drew Brees is going to get more comfortable. He's got a couple weeks. He'll probably sit out. Like once they win next week, he'll probably sit out week 17. He'll sit out.
I would hope so.
I'm going to go with the Saints. So far, you and I have picked every game the same way. This one may not be the case, though. Number 3 seed Seattle Seahawks and number 6 seed Tampa Bay Bucks.
Now, this is a good one because it's two of the best playoff quarterbacks that we've seen. I wouldn't even say playoffs. I would say high leverage situational quarterbacks because, I mean, Russell Wilson, he has a Super Bowl, right? Yeah.
He does. Should have had 2.
He destroyed the Broncos, or was that
Yes,
Cam
it was the
Newton that destroyed?
Broncos.
Okay. Either way, it's interesting because it's Tom effing Brady. But
It's
not Tom effing Brady of old. So I think I got to go with the Seahawks on this one.
This one's close, but I'm going to agree because the Buccaneers start out every game really, really slow. I mean, they were down 24-7 in the third quarter against the Atlanta Falcons. Granted, it's the Atlanta Falcons, but they came back and won. Like they start too slow for my liking, and I just don't think this is the year for Tom Brady. Like he signed a 2-year deal. I think next year is going to be better. They're going to have a full year under their belt with the system. I think it may not be their year, but they're going to have a better shot at it, I think. I'm going to go with the Seahawks at home. I know there's no fans, but at home, pass rush is better. Offensive line has been a little shaky for the Bucs. Now the Bucs do have the best run defense in the league, or one of the best. So Seahawks aren't going to be able to run the ball, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson. But I'm still going to go with Dange Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
All right, and then the Washington football team and the Los Angeles Rams.
Now, you asked me this last week. I say Rams.
Yeah, I know.
But now it's like,
Rams have been super inconsistent. Now you lose to the Jets.
Gosh. This is a lot harder than it needs to be.
And literally, this could change next week. This could literally be the Giants in this spot, or it could be Dallas.
Really, really. Yeah, not next week, not Dallas, the week after.
Yeah, it would have to be the week after. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, could be the Eagles for all we know.
I mean, it could be, but I think they're at the bottom.
But I think I'm going to go with the Rams on this one.
I'm going to go with the Rams, too. Now, Dwayne Haskins played yesterday. Why?
Did Alex Smith get hurt? He did not look good. Yes. Haskins did not look good.
In fairness, he hasn't played in. Well, they didn't really set up a good game plan. They made him throw the ball 55 times, and it wasn't a shootout. So I don't know why. I don't know what they expected. They haven't been too kind to Dwayne Haskins in Washington. He needs a fresh start somewhere. But that's besides the point. If Alex Smith is playing, I like Washington. But if he's not playing, I like the Rams right now. He's not playing. Is that a serious injury? Do we know?
I'm not 100% sure.
I can edit. What are we looking at here?
Steelers are looking terrible, by the way.
Doesn't say anything about an injury. Just says he's going to remain quarterback 1.
No, he played. Probably when he comes back from injury.
Oh,
'cause
he had a
played.
calf. He had a calf injury. So I assume he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing then. So if Alex Smith's playing, wow, this is tough. Oh my gosh. Los Angeles
Good.
Rams, but I don't feel good about it. That's probably the one I feel the least good. I feel the worst about that one. But now, moving on, the Packers would take on the Los Angeles Rams,
Mm.
and the Saints would take on the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll start with Packers and Rams.
You know, the Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Their defense is all right. Rams have a top 3 defense and a solid offense. Not great, not bad. Packers are literally the opposite. I mean, Packers are decent across the board. They don't have amazing offense. They don't have amazing defense. Whatever. I just don't see the Packers as with doing much in the postseason. So I'm gonna go Rams on this one.
Packers secondary is really good with Jair Alexander. And I just think the Rams have been too inconsistent. I think they're going to barely squeak away with a win over Washington if in fact that's who they play. And I know the Rams have the best secondary in the league with Jalen Ramsey, but it's Aaron Rodgers. And one thing that I've learned is, as a Cowboy fan, is that there's really no stopping Aaron Rodgers in the early rounds of the playoffs. Yeah, you can when he's maybe in the NFC Championship, but early rounds, it's hard to bet against Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with the Packers. So that's where we defer. So now I'll ask you for the NFC champ. Well, now we have another game.
Saints and Seahawks.
New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks.
I would pick the Seahawks on this one because I truly think the Seahawks are the better team than the Saints. I really don't have anything else to say other than that.
Yeah, I think the Saints come up short once again. I think Drew Brees, that elusive second ring, he's not gonna find it. It's lost. It's a needle in a haystack. He ain't gonna find it, and he's gonna retire after this season. I'm going Hawks. So your NFC Championship is Rams Seahawks. Who do you think's going?
Yep.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. What did you say?
Said so. Your NFC Championship is Rams Seahawks. Who's going to the Super Bowl to take on the Chiefs?
Seahawks.
Okay. My NFC Championship is Packers Seahawks. And this is where I say Seahawks. I'm going to say Seahawks against the Packers are going to win because the Packers are just not a physical football team, whereas Seattle is. Packers have a bad run defense, and the Seahawks don't really have a good running offense, but, I mean, they make any running offense look good. So I'm going to go Seahawks over the Packers. I would be a rematch, I think, of the 2014 NFC Championship. And it'll be Russell Wilson versus Patty Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So both of us have that. And I'm assuming we're both going to say the Seahawks?
I'm going to say Chiefs repeat.
I was joking anyways. I was going to say Chiefs. Yeah, Chiefs.
It's not like I don't think it'd be a bad game. I think
I think it would be good for sure. But it's Chiefs, though.
It's Chiefs, yeah.
Like, the Chiefs won by what? Less than one full touchdown against the Saints, but it never felt like that game was in doubt for the Chiefs. It always felt like they were going to win the entire way.
There goes 3 points.
The last possession for the Chiefs, it was 2nd and 8 with like 2 minutes left. 31 out of 32 teams are going to run the ball in that situation, right? Force a timeout.
Yeah.
They throw it and pick up the first down.
It's only Patrick Mahomes. My mom won her fantasy game because of that, and is in the championship.
I moved on to the fantasy Super Bowl, I guess, for week 16 and week 17, which on the ESPN app, it's interesting how they do it. They do 2 weeks in a row against the same opponent, and then it's a cumulative score, which I scored
Well, you
well
can
over
pick
300.
like that. You don't have to choose that way. Because my family league, I just lost to my grandma going into the championship. So the championship's my mom and my grandma. So
Love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm in your league
DeAndre
too
Hopkins
this year.
won it for.
Yeah, I had a trash season in your league this year. I'm not last though, so I'm not going to win that trophy.
I didn't win either. I think my
That's-
brother's still in it.
So that's good. But yeah, I'm in the championship in the Orbit Fantasy League. But I'm taking on, it's going to be David versus Goliath. My God. Jacob Reed has been stomping everybody this whole season. So
And our
about to get
the accounting league that you're into, we're in the championship.
You and me?
Yeah.
I didn't set my lineup.
Oh, we're in the championship next week.
I
so.
love that. I'm gonna have to set the lineup then. I didn't know I knew I made the playoffs, but then I forgot.
I did too.
Worked out. I love that. Well, may the best man win.
Jesus. Oh man. Well, that's
all right, buddy.
Helmet.
Well, that wraps up everything sports wise we were going to talk about.